Adam Schiff tries to shut Jim Jordan down and cut him off. Watch how Jim Jordan shut him down instead.
So what I'm wondering is, this is the day after the aid's been lifted that Ambassador Taylor made this statement to the Ukrainian government. And he makes this after there's nothing been done by Ukraine to influence our election. Because President Zelensky didn't announce he was doing an investigation and the aid was lifted. But he felt he needed to say that. But in 2016, when we know that the majority of Ukrainian politicians want Clinton to win, because it was said by a member of parliament, when the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine writes an op-ed criticizing then candidate Trump, when Mr. Avakov calls candidate Trump all kinds of names, nobody goes and talks to him and tells him to knock it off. Did you have any conversations, Ambassador, with Victoria Nuland or Secretary of State Perry about what was going on in 2016 and this majority of Ukrainian politicians being for candidate Clinton and not and opposed to President Trump?
No, I did not.
No one did anything. No one did anything. You see why maybe the president was a little concerned about what went on in Ukraine? And you couple that with the corruption level that we know exists in Ukraine, you add to that this idea that he's not a big fan of foreign aid, why he might be a little concerned about sending the hard-earned tax dollars of the American people to Ukraine?
I'm sorry, is there a question there?
There was.
Okay. Could you repeat it, please?
I'm asking...
Time of the gentleman has expired, but I'll allow you to repeat the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm asking, maybe we can kind of see why the president was a little concerned when you have the highest-ranking officials in the government, the ambassador criticizing him, parliamentary member Lashchenko criticizing him, when you have Avakov, the guy who first told you about Giuliani, criticizing him. All this going on, and when you couple that with the concerns he has about corruption, the concerns he has about Europe not doing enough, the concerns he has about reluctance to send in the hard-earned tax dollars to any country,
Mr. Jordan,
frankly.
I have indulged you with extra time, but
I appreciate
my
it.
indulgence is wearing out.
I appreciate it.
There is a question,
Our indulgence wore out with you a long time ago, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
I'll tell you that.
But I'm about to gavel you down, so if you have a question, I suggest you.
I'm asking her: do you think there's maybe a reason that this was that President Trump's concern was justified?
You know, I can't speak for the president on this, but what I would say is. You've listed a number of actions. I think from my point of view, that doesn't create a Ukrainian government strategy to interfere in our election.
I didn't say that.
Mr. Jordan, please allow the ambassador to answer the question.
So I would just say that, you know, U.S. politicians will often criticize policies of foreign counterparts, even perhaps during their elections. You know, this happens in politics, and I think that it doesn't necessarily constitute interference.
Would you ever write an op-ed critical of a presidential candidate in Ukraine?
Jordan, your time has expired. Mr. Welch, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What you just watched is exactly why so many Americans lost trust in these impeachment hearings from the very beginning. Jim Jordan wasn't asking some wild or irrelevant question. He was pointing to something Democrats and the media spent years pretending never happened. If foreign election interference is such a grave threat to our democracy, then why were so many people willing to ignore what happened in Ukraine during the 2016 election? Jordan laid out the facts. Ukrainian officials openly expressed support for Hillary Clinton. A Ukrainian ambassador wrote an op-ed attacking Donald Trump during the campaign. Other Ukrainian political figures publicly criticized Trump while he was running for president. Yet somehow none of that triggered the same outrage from Washington's political establishment. That's the double standard Jordan was exposing. What really stands out in this clip isn't just the substance of the question, it's the reaction to it. The moment Jordan starts connecting the dots, Schiff becomes visibly irritated. The clock suddenly becomes a major concern. The interruptions start, the warnings start, the pressure to move on starts. Why? Because Jordan was pulling the discussion away from the narrative Democrats wanted the public focused on. Instead of talking exclusively about Trump's actions, Jordan was asking whether Trump might have had legitimate reasons to be skeptical of Ukraine in the first place. That's an important distinction. For years, Trump's critics acted as if there could be no possible justification for questioning U.S. policy toward Ukraine. But Jordan was highlighting concerns that many Americans already had. Concerns about corruption, concerns about accountability, concerns about sending billions of taxpayer dollars overseas while European allies often contributed less than expected, concerns about whether American leaders apply the same standards to everyone. Notice something else. When Jordan asks whether those actions by Ukrainian officials might help explain why Trump was concerned, the witness doesn't fully reject the premise. Instead, the answer shifts into a discussion about how politicians criticize each other all the time. But that's exactly where Jordan's follow-up becomes so effective. He asks a simple question. Did you ever write an op-ed attacking a presidential candidate in the country where you were serving as ambassador? It's a devastating point, because it highlights how unusual that situation really was. And what happens immediately after that? The questioning gets cut off. That's what made this exchange memorable. Jordan wasn't delivering a prepared speech. He was forcing uncomfortable questions into the open, questions many people in Washington preferred not to answer. This hearing was supposed to reinforce a particular narrative about President Trump. Instead, moments like this reminded viewers that there were still major questions about the conduct of others involved in the story. Whether you agree with Jordan or not, it's hard to watch this clip and not notice the contrast. One side wanted to explore the broader context surrounding Ukraine and the 2016 election. The other side seemed eager to move past it as quickly as possible, and that's often what happens when an argument hits too close to home. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments.